So we're looking at NFL defensive tackles. Um, I'll take a look at what the position really entails, but we're looking at honorable mentions. And the first one is Justin Jones from the Chicago Bears. Justin Jones, Chicago Bears. I mean, what else can I say about him? Um, a very underrated guy. No one really talks about him at all, but he's a pretty important leader for Chicago, especially their defense. This team is definitely growing. They're trying to rebuild. They're trying to become something in the North, and I think Justin Jones is a huge part of that process. Right? He's 27 years old, 5 years in the league. He's got 1 year, $4.9 million left in his contract. 17 games played and 17 started. 4 pass deflections, 1 fumble recovery, 3 sacks, 52 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, and 7 QB hits. Again, it's a guy that many people overlook just because it is the Chicago Bears, but they do have some great defenders out there, and Justin Jones is one of them. He really gets it done um, when you really need it most. Um, he's a run stuffer. Um, he could get to the QB. It's not really a specialty, more of a run stuffer and a big guy up front that can do the dirty work. So Justin Jones is not afraid to make a tackle. He's not afraid of getting blocked by guards and centers. Man, he's a big dude, and he's ready to lace him up every Sunday and play his ultimate best. So overall, Justin Jones, man, leader, and should be on this list. Very relevant player, and I hope to see what he does this year. And I hope he can play to the standard and possibly get a top 10 list maybe eventually in his career. The next player we got is B.J. Hill of the Cincinnati Bengals. He's a guy that also does not get talked about, overlooked, because a lot of the attention goes to Trey Hendrickson. But B.J. Hill is a very important part in the Cincinnati defense, a team that is obviously trying to accomplish what they couldn't accomplish 2 years ago and what they failed to do in the AFC Championship game of trying to reach a Super Bowl. They're trying to win it all. I do believe they have a great, solid team. There are pieces that are missing on this team that obviously makes them a little bit vulnerable. But I do believe that Cincinnati's got a good team, allowing them to be division winners possibly this year, and definitely could be a number one seed. You know, they have a different approach, obviously, and they need to fix a lot of issues that they've got, especially with losing that bad against Cleveland. But overall, right now, BJ Hill is one of those leaders that you want on the field. You want him to play D tackle. He is 28 years old, 5 years in the league, 2 years, 2 years, $15 million left in his contract. He has a 2024 potential out with a $3.33 million in dead cap for the Bengals. 16 games played, 16 started, 4 pass deflections, 1 fumble recovery, 1 forced fumble, 3 fumble recoveries, 3 sacks, 68 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and 11 QB hits. Playoff wise, they lost to the Chiefs in the championship game, like I said. In the 3 games, he had 2 pass deflections for 1 sack, 9 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 3 QB hits. Again, he is underrated. People overlook him, but he's got a lot of tools of making him a good D tackle, and he's been solid for them. He does a little bit of everything, so you gotta look at him and kind of observe that he's a great player, and we'll see what he does. I hope he has another great year. I want to see what he does, and maybe top 10. Hopefully, I mean, we'll see what happens with him in his season this year. Next player on the list is a guy that I feel like has so much importance to Green Bay. I believe he could be top 10. I definitely, in the past, definitely seen him as a top 10 defensive tackle of this league. Just unfortunate of him just having some class of people right now in this position that overtake him right now. But he is definitely the closest one I feel on this list that has the chance of being back in a top 10 list and being on my top 10 list because of his age, but also the fact that his impact for Green Bay is tremendous. He does a little bit of everything. He could sack. He could be a sack artist, back sack specialist. He's also a run stuffer. He's fast, man. He's agile for a big guy, and like I said, he's one of those most important guys up front in that line, and they need him. They need a Kenny Clark. Without a Kenny Clark, I think Green Bay's defense is weird and it's different. It's not as impactful. I think he's a big impact. There's some players out there that are a great impact for that organization, but Kenny Clark's one of them. He is only 27 years old, 7 years in the league, 2 years, $33.25 million left in his deal, 17 games played and started, one forced fumble, one fumble recovery, four sacks, 53 tackles, five tackles for loss, and 10 QB hits. Green Bay did not go to the playoffs this year, but we've seen him in the playoffs. He's had his moments, his great moments, and it's nice to see him out there playing and having a successful season last year. I'm expecting great things from him. I'm expecting big things, and I'm expecting it to be a top 10 list next year, just because of the ability that he has at this position, and he's a dangerous guy, dangerous player, and excited to see what he does. We don't got much time on this player, so I'm going to try to make it short and sweet. But Grover Street is a player that's super impactful for Indianapolis. He is another guy in Indianapolis that not many people know about, but he's been doing this for a while, and he's been doing it at a pretty good pace, a pretty good solid seasons, and you got to give him his credit. He is a big, big guy in the run stuffer, tackling machine for a defensive tackle. I think he's pretty impressive with his numbers, and I do believe that he's one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league in terms of being relevant. He's not a top 10 member um, for unfortunate reasons. I mean, it's a very tough list to go through and see who needs to be up there, who doesn't. But Grover Stewart is 29 years old, 6 years in the league, 1 year, $9.62 million left in his deal, 17 games played, 17 started, 3 pass deflections, 1 fumble recovery, 4 sacks, 70 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, and 7 QB hits. Not bad, and I'm excited what he does in this season. Last on the honorable mentions, but definitely not least, future Hall of Famer, a top 10 defensive tackle in the league for a long time. Like I said, unfortunately, I just have more guys that I feel like are there. And Fletcher Cox is getting older, so I think his production went down. He's still a solid player. He's still got juice in the tank. Another Philly defensive lineman that is just as scary and someone that you have to be on the lookout for. So, I mean, overall, defensive tackles they are known to be to do everything, especially nowadays. There's no specific thing. I mean, they can do it all with the pass rush, with the run stuff, tackling, speed, strength. They got a lot of stuff going for him. So Fletcher Cox has been doing this forever, and he deserves these props. He's a future Hall of Famer. 32 years old, 11 years in the league. 1 year, $10 million that they put him in for Philly. Great spot for him to kind of mentor Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. 17 games played and started. One forced fumble, one fumble recovery, 7 sacks, 43 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 14 QB hits. In the playoffs, lost the Super Bowl to the Chiefs in 3 games in the playoffs. 1 sack, 6 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 QB hit. So he's older, I get it, but he's still being effective. He's still getting after it, and he needs to be looked at as that. So overall, I'm excited to see what he does, and yeah, well, let's see what he can do this year with Brandon Graham and Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and all that scary defensive front there. Start this list off in the top 10 with Derrick Brown, the young Panther defensive tackle. Strong individual, man, strong. Man handles all of the interior offensive linemen. That's the opposing team, and I mean what he can do, man. The power rush moves that he brings to the table, the ability of him playing. I mean, he's a beast, man. He's a beast. He's a dog, and honestly, I mean, he's deserving of being in this position, man. He's still young. He can still develop to be a better D tackle, and I do believe that he could be top 5 eventually, especially with new wave of D tackles and D tackles aging. Derrick Brown is 25 years old, 3 years in the league. He's got 2 years, $15.49 million left on his rookie deal, so they're gonna have to pay him. Um, 17 games played and started, 1 interception, 7 pass deflections, 1 sack, 67 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 12 QB hits. I mean, not much better than that, man. He can do a little bit of everything. He can maybe be a better sack specialist, but from what I could see, he's a better run stopper and stuffer, and he'll be doing the dirty work for Carolina for a while. And I hope they have money. I hope they have cap room and sign that guy because they need him. Very, very important, very special, and a young, good Carolina defense, young as well. At the number 9 spot, we got the new founder of this incredible 49er defense that didn't need to get better, and they did. It's the defense that I feel like is going to definitely love this pickup that they got with Javon Hargrave, man. He is a force, a terrorizer. He is a QB magnet for QB sack magnet. Great for all around, everything you need, man. All the stuff that you need out of a D tackle. Javon Hargrave brings it every single Sunday. It was a great package for Philly, especially what they did, and that he's going to be very, really missed. Regardless of them having fill-ins of Jalen and Jordan Davis, who look like they could be super promising, along with old guy and Fletcher Cox that can teach them the ways. Javon Hargrave's presence will be missed, especially that's a big part of what brought him to the Super Bowl was defense and their offensive line and the receiving core. But this defense will be all right in Philly. But 49ers got a better guy, and their defense is going to be even better than it was. Javon Hargrave, 30 years, 7 years in the league, 30 years old, 4 years, $84 million contract with the 49ers. He has a 2025 potential out with an $18.6 million in dead cap. 17 games he played and started, 2 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, 11 sacks, 60 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 16 QB hits in the playoffs. Lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. 3 games in there, 1 pass deflection, 1 sack, 9 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a QB hit. Could have been a Pro Bowler, should have been a Pro Bowler. Should have done something more, but exactly, they're not. They didn't speak to what season he had. He had a great season, and he's gonna have a great season in San Fran. So they just gained a great, great superstar, and we'll see what happens with this guy over there if they can win a Super Bowl this year in San Fran. Number 8, Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett, underrated. First of all, what I love about Grady Jarrett is you can put him anywhere. You can put him on the end. You can put him as D tackle. It doesn't really matter where you put him. He's going to have an impact, and he's done that with Atlanta since he got in the league. I mean, great player. Been able to go to the Super Bowl. Actually, was dominating that Super Bowl, and he's had a solid career so far. He gets overlooked because Atlanta hasn't been great for a while, and they don't really know what he's about. But what he's about is he plays his heart, plays with heart, and he brings it every Sunday, and he does everything you want out of a D tackle. Fast guy for a D tackle, fast dude, agility, acceleration, power, strength. He's got it. He's got it all, and he's an underrated D tackle. It was hard to put him where I could put him. I'm not going to put him at DN. There's a lot of DNs out there that are a lot better than him. No offense to him. I think he's great, but he's more of a D tackle. He's more of an interior defensive lineman, and that's where he belongs, right? Whatever they do, if they, obviously I could see they're doing 3-4 package, so they're going to put him at the end. That's fine, but he's still a D tackle in my opinion, so I'm going to put him there. Grady Jarrett, 30 years old, 8 years in the league, 3 years, $49 million left in his deal with the 2024 potential out of an $8.25 million dead cap. 17 games played and started, 3 pass deflections, 6 sacks, 61 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 17 QB hits. That's no scrum. That's no scrub numbers. That's not bum numbers. That's a guy that's impacting the football field every single Sunday. That's a guy that you need to look out for. You need to watch film on when you look at the Falcons, and Falcons defense definitely got better with some of the trades and free agency that they did. I mean, having Jesse Bates is a huge impact, and we'll be seeing that in the safety videos. But he's a superstar in the making, superstar in general, and there's crazy potential with him. He's still got a lot to go, I feel like, but I think he's got so much potential with him. It's insane. Overall, I do like Grady Jarrett. I do like his leadership, and I think he's going to have a great year this year. And I can't wait to see what he does, and we'll see where he's at next year. Will he be a D tackle or be labeled as a D end? Regardless, you need to put him as relevant because he is relevant and he's really good at his job.